UFC fighters versus 45-year-old uncles. Two extremes that I want to compare today to show you a couple things that you can do to improve yourself and your fitness journey, your self-improvement journey, your deen, everything else. So I first want to look at the example of UFC fighters. Obviously right now we got, Khamzat and all these other guys on the card. Now, of course, we know that striking the face is haram as evidenced by this authentic hadith. So of course, don't go strike in the face. If you're going to train boxing or anything like that, just hit the bags and do body sparring, but no face, no willful harm to yourself or others. Of course, don't violate Islam. But these guys train really hard for their bodies and they always put Allah first. They always give credit to Allah. They never say, look at how great of a fighter I am. They say, this comes from Allah. If you look at Habib's Hall of Fame acceptance speech, he said, there's plenty of people who work just as hard as me who didn't make it. So that shows that this is a blessing from Allah and has nothing to do with my hard work. MashaAllah, Allahumma barik, that level of humility. Now, of course, if he didn't work hard, it's unlikely that he would have been bestowed upon him this opportunity and this blessing. But there's plenty of other people who train hard. So of course, Allah's blessing is always required for everything. But you also got to put in the work. And what better example to look to than these guys? Now, what about the 45-year-old uncles? And yeah, I know 45. I mean, look, I'm 30 and I get called an uncle by my friends' kids, of course. So you can be an uncle at any age. But what I mean by an uncle is a guy with a big belly, dense-headed, narrow-minded, thinks that fitness is a waste of time and makes the excuse about ibadah, family, and work. When in reality, if he was fit and healthy, he would be better at all those things. I mean, look at how pious these brothers are, how much dawah they're doing, how strong they are. Yeah, of course, it's haram to hit the face. They're not perfect. May Allah guide them. But the point being, they're really, really pious brothers. And even Habib, he left MMA and he's not going back no matter how many millions of dollars they offer him because he wants to obey his mother. And Allah says in Surah Al-Isra that if your parents live to reach old age, then treat them with honor and do not say uff, anything like that. I'm going to attach the verses here, of course. But the point being, mashallah, Allahumma barik, they prioritize their deen, but they also take care of their bodies. So the uncles have to learn from these guys. No, I don't need the uncles to go hit the face, but the uncles for themselves, they need to get fit and healthy. So share this with an uncle if you're already fit. And if you're already fit, then let's take it to the next level. Let's push as hard as possible. And if you're not fit, well, now you know why it's important to strengthen yourself, because a strong believer is more beloved to Allah than the weak believer. So never forget that. Never make excuses. Don't be an obese 55-year-old uncle. Be a fit, mashallah, Allahumma barik. And guess what? I know people in their 60s, Muslims, who are fitter than most people in their 20s. So be like that instead of being one of these old, decrepit men who expires at 40. No, I know people in their 70s, even a man in his 90s who's still fit, goes to the masjid for all 5 salah, Allahumma barik, functional fit, doesn't even use a chair when he prays. He sets up the chairs for the other guys who are younger than him. There are guys who are 70, 80. He sets up the chairs for them and he's 90, Allahumma barik, and he gives the adhan. May Allah preserve him and bless him and make the last of all of our deeds the best of our deeds. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum.